Donald Trump's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, was on Fox Business, and he had some thoughts to share about how the Trump administration is planning for the transition. Let's watch.
My own view, looking at this election, we have what appears in some sense to be an immaculate deception. But if you look statistically at what happened, clearly the president won this election and was leading on election day. And then after election day, somehow in these key battleground states, they got just enough votes to catch up to the president. That's kind of what is being investigated. So I think what's important here is that this is a country of laws and rules. We have a very clear set of election laws. And what we need to do is go through the process as we did with Gore, Bush v. Gore, and see where we get. So until we do that, our assumption is the second Trump term. We think he won that election.
Our assumption is a second Trump term. Just today it was announced that Joe Biden won both Arizona and Georgia, meaning that he now has a total of 306 electoral votes. So things aren't working out the way that the Trump administration was hoping or was assuming it would work out. But yeah, I mean, Ben, thoughts on Peter Navarro's statements there?
So here's the thing, like, there's some of us think that a Trump coup is very possible, and others feel like maybe not. But what troubles me isn't the ability for us to just have a peaceful transition and everything goes fine. That's what I'm hoping for. But they can't keep talking like this and expecting all of their supporters to just back down when they've collected these checks and they've gone off into the sunset of Mar-a-Lago. Their supporters are still gonna be angry. So whether they plan on instituting a coup or not, they are preparing their followers. And if you paid attention to their followers, some of these folks will carry out that violence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna talk about it a little bit later in the show, but MAGA is planning a big rally in Washington, D.C. And of course, it's being encouraged by Donald Trump and his goons. And members of the Proud Boys are already threatening to use violence. Unfortunately, there are counter protests planned. And I say unfortunately because I don't think it's a good idea. Donald Trump lost the election. Nothing's gonna change that. So let the MAGA guys go out there and have their little rally, have their fun, embarrass themselves and move on with your lives. Like don't engage with them. It's just not worth it. And I saw a video featuring General Mark Milley that actually put my mind at ease. I never thought I would use that statement, but I think it's important to show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's take a look at what he had to say this week.
We are unique among militaries. We do not take an oath to a king or a queen, a tyrant or a dictator. We do not take an oath to an individual. No, we do not take an oath to a country, a tribe, or a religion. We take an oath to the Constitution. And every soldier that is represented in this museum, every sailor, airman, Marine, Coast Guardsman, each of us will protect and defend that document regardless of personal price.
I love that.
Yeah,
that was strong.
It was simultaneously intense but reassuring. Like he spoke with some authority. I was like, okay, I feel you, man. But what's reassuring is that they understand the score, right? He's not going to come out right directly and say he understands that there's a looming possibility of an attempted coup. But we didn't pledge our allegiance to Donald Trump. We did. We gave our oath to the Constitution. Now, the real question is when this comes down to theory versus practice. In theory, it's easy to say that we're going to protect the Constitution, not our commander in chief. But when he starts firing people as a result of you not obeying his instructions, the question is will you actually carry out that principle when the pressure is on?
Yeah, one thing that I haven't really seen detailed reporting on is how this could play out if Trump refuses to leave, right? Like what happens? I mean, it is unprecedented. What's the protocol? What's the planning for that? Already we're having issues with the transition because Donald Trump refuses to allow Joe Biden to get intel briefings, which is again one of the first things that starts to happen as soon as the general election is called. But how long is he going to play this game where he pretends like he doesn't accept the outcome of the election? How long is he going to do it? I think it's part of his grift. I think he's using this as a way of raising money for his legal fees and debts and all that stuff. But January 20th is going to be here before we know it, and I'm just curious what kind of planning is taking place to ensure that he's out of the White House. Like, bye, go away. And here's some more, I guess, good news regarding how people in his circle are handling the reality of this election. The editorial page of conservative mega donor Sheldon Adelson's Las Vegas Review Journal urged Trump to drop his conspiratorial rhetoric and begin cooperating with Biden's transition while the legal challenges play out. And some Republican senators are demanding that the White House extend intelligence briefings to Biden and his team. Now, they kind of speak from both sides of their mouths, right? Yes. Like they'll say the transition needs to start, allow Biden to get the briefings. But at the same time, they'll justify the legal battles that the Trump campaign is engaging in. But I don't see those legal battles lasting very long. The Trump campaign did just drop their lawsuit in Arizona. Some of Trump's lawyers representing his case against Pennsylvania have dropped him. So sure, go ahead with your legal battles if you want, but he hasn't really won any of them. It's just nothing's really working out for him. And again, I think he knows it. I think people in his administration know it. It's just pathetic to see all these people enabling him.
Yeah, because if they continue to enable him, the real question is like what happens when you have enabled him to the point where he actually tries this? Right? Instead of just condemning it outright from the beginning and never giving him an inch on this possible, even if it's a remote possibility, but there's a possibility of him destroying this country. You guys can't sit around talking out both sides of your neck. Condemn it and tell him to get out of office.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.